Good morning, YouTube. Sunday morning for me today, Sunday the 19th of January. I still keep my routine very, very similar. Maybe I'm just a little bit slower on a weekend because I don't kind of have the check-ins on a Saturday and Sunday that I need to kind of start early doors. But I do still kind of get up at a similar time. I still tend to go to bed at a similar time on the weekends. I think my body's just very in tune with that. And I want my weekends to be something that I relax. I don't want to be getting to Monday and thinking that, I'm knackered. I want to kind of feel recharged. I want to feel excited for the working week. So I do tend to keep my routine very, very similar. So I've already been up. Winnie got spaded last Monday. So she's struggling a little bit now because she's not allowed off the lead for the next, this is just come up to a week now. She's not allowed off the lead for another 3 weeks. So it's really difficult for her. So we just went on a little walk. She's only allowed 10-minute blocks at the moment. So she's having 4 10-minute walks a day. And I can definitely tell that she's a little bit frustrated. But we still went out this morning, did our walk, did some stretching, and now we're kind of just sitting and relaxing. And training has actually changed slightly on a Sunday. Not that I'm not training legs, because I always train legs on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, and a Sunday. But me and Jordan are actually going to swap the days that we train together. So we were training on a Thursday, which obviously I spoke about in the last YouTube. We're actually moving it to a Sunday. He's got a little girl who's coming up for a year old now, and his partner's going back to work, which just means that we just need to move things around because we like to not have to kind of rush this session. And so it would make more sense for us to kind of move this onto a Sunday morning. So we are actually going to be training this morning, and I will take you through the session, although it is the same session that I did before, but I might kind of just break things down a little bit with kind of, what I aim for in my sessions when it kind of comes to progressions. And I thought what I would kind of just do with the start of this YouTube today is just talk about kind of goals and essentially my goals for this year. I am a big advocate of setting goals. I think it gives you something to aim for. I think a lot of successful people will have a goal, and it's really important kind of, that you see this as personal development, and your goals are going to not just be your physique. So for example, like part of my goals this year, there is going to be personal development in the sense of that I want to build more muscle, but there are obviously other things that you can kind of set your goals around. And I think something that's really, really important that you kind of do, well, I do, and I think it's an important thing to do, is to break your goals down. Okay, so let's just take, for example, that you have a goal that you want to lose 30 pounds to feel more comfortable. Okay, you need to break that down. You're not going to try and achieve that all in, say, the first 2 months of the year. Okay, so what I tend to do with my goals is I write out my goals for the year, and then what I do is I break them down into quarters. Some of the goals that I've got this year are, first of all, that I want to build more muscle, know the areas that I need to grow in, because I had the feedback from the judges. So we've now devised a training plan to kind of suit that. And I've mapped out my year. So with my coach, we've mapped out roughly, what positions I'm going to be in at certain points. So we're in a grow phase now. We'll do that for a period of time. Then we might have to kind of take a pause on that. Maybe I need to run a little bit of a deload because you will build up fatigue from growing. There might be certain points where we might have to kind of do a little mini cut during the year, because when you do grow and you are in a surplus, you are going to accumulate some body fat. So throughout the year, that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to grow for a period of time. We'll keep an eye on the physique. We might pull back, have a little look to see if we're progressing in the areas that we want. And we're just going to keep rinsing and repeating that for this year. So that's the goal that I've got, say, for my physique development. That now it gives me a plan to follow. I'm not trying to achieve all of that in the first quarter of the year. The next goal for me was to go on some more holidays this year. So last year, obviously when you're on prep for 5 months, I didn't really go on holiday. So it'd be nice to kind of travel a little bit, and I want to take Winnie to some nice places. We've got Belfast in February, which would be lovely, and we've booked to go to the Lake District, somewhere I've always wanted to go, in May. So I've kind of already started to provisionally put that in. And then personal development from kind of my business side of things for me is to just continue to help more ladies. I have already signed up to a 6-month program to learn more. So last year I learned about kind of the perimenopause, the menopause, all of the hormones, to be able to help women who maybe are going through that transition of their life. I want to delve into a little bit more around kind of the training, the biomechanics. I also want to look around kind of gut health. So I've signed up to a course that's going to take me for the first 6 months of the year. So I'm going to be able to learn, which is hopefully then going to be able to help me with my clients, if they've got any kind of issues when it comes to hormone health, gut health. I'm going to invest in learning training more, because I think with training it is something that you can always progress. So even at my point now, I'm still learning about training. I want to get better. I want to get more confident with it, so that then I can just help more of my clients and more of my ladies. So that's kind of the plan from a business perspective. I'm also going to be running kind of a few more community things within the group. So we've actually got a little bit of a team day and a seminar in February, where I'm going to kind of cover the glutes and how to maybe train and target your glutes a little bit more. So they're going to come in-house for that. We've also got a mobility sessions. We've got a lady that's going to come in and teach us a little bit more around kind of mobility and the benefits of that. So I wanted to bring that kind of educational community side of things a little bit more in for the team this year. So as you can see, I've broken my goals down. They're not all about how I look. Our physique development, and I've planned how I'm going to achieve that over the next year. I've also thought about how I'm going to factor my holidays in, okay, and like I said, I've thought about the development of what I'd like to do work related to keep those going. And I do like to keep educating myself. I think now that I've found something that I'm really, really passionate about, it excites me to kind of keep educating myself and keep learning. So yeah, when you set goals, it's great to set big goals, and maybe set goals for what you're going to do at the start of the year, okay, but then break them down. Okay, you can break them down into, say, quarters, and then you can break them down into, say, what you're going to achieve that month, and then you can break it down even more, and you can look, okay, so what is required this week. That's my goals for this year. Training this morning, so I will take you through some of the training, obviously to build the muscle, predominantly the legs. I need to be training my legs frequently. I've worked out for me that training legs 3 times a week is kind of like the optimal frequency for me from a recovery standpoint. So that is the plan of action for today, and I will take you through my leg day. So first exercise is the leg extension. I will always use straps to keep myself nice and fixed in, because we want to think about pulling ourselves down. We ideally don't want our hips to lift when we're performing this exercise. So I always use straps, and they really, really help me. So I get myself in the zone and I get myself kind of set. I haven't taken a progression on weight this week. I'm just going to try and see if I can make a progression through some extra reps. So we start performing the exercise, like I said, keeping the hips down, lifting up. What I try and do is think about pulling my shins towards my shoulders, getting a little squeeze at the top. And now I'm reaching failure. Yes, me and George do like to do a couple of force reps. I probably could keep my head still here, but I took the set to failure. I couldn't do any more. And I managed 1 extra rep. So now we move on to my squat variation. So for me, I'm currently running the squat press. You could use a hack machine. You could use a barbell squat, your squat variation. So I warmed up for this, I built back up, and I've actually taken a progression on my weight this week. So we've added an extra, I think, 5 kilos. So as you can see, nice and controlled reps. I'm thinking about letting my knees travel forward, because I do want to recruit my quads. I'm thinking about engaging my core nice and tight, just keeping my upper body kind of nice and still and just letting it come down with me. I'm really thinking about pushing through my heels and my toes. And now you can start to see that the exercise is getting hard. So my ability to drive out of the hole is now kind of a struggle. So we go for kind of 1 more rep, and you can see that real struggle there. So that's failure for me.
I'll make a note of the reps. I think it was about 7 or 8, and I'll stay on that weight and just see if I can get the reps up from here. Now we move on to the leg press. So I'm going for more of a horizontal press here so that I can kind of target my quads. Still going to recruit your glutes when you do a leg press, but I'm really trying to think about my quads in this movement. So my heels are at the bottom. So you ideally want your heels as low as you can, but you want to be able to still push through your heels. I have to use the little booster seat because I'm a bit of a shorty and I like to keep my back really, really nice and neutral. So I'm just thinking about control here. I'm thinking about bringing my knees towards my shoulders. I'm thinking about controlling the way down, almost getting a little bit of a hold at the bottom, although it doesn't really look like it. In my head, it feels like it. And you can now see that it's a struggle. I'm keeping my bum pushed down into the seat, keeping my body still. And then you can see here that these last couple of reps, I'm having to really, really fight. Those last 2 reps, the explosive part was really slow. I didn't take a progression on the weight this week, but I managed to do 2 extra reps from last week. So that's the progression in itself. So next exercise is the Bulgarian split squat, and I actually forgot to film the rest of my exercises, so apologies for that, and I don't know why the camera is deciding to shake. Anyway, so Bulgarian split squat, I like to do it on the Swiss machine, a fixed machine, so I can get nice and fixed. So for me, I do want to recruit the quads a little bit here, so I'm just thinking about letting my knee travel forward. I'm really thinking about leading with that front working leg, so pushing into the heel, pushing into the toes, and just controlling that way down. I'm thinking about slowing the way down and getting as much depth as I can, and then just keeping my core nice and tight. You can start to see that I struggle here. The rep begins to get slow. And what you'll see on the last rep is my ability to just keep my form a little bit there starts to go. So that's failure for me on that exercise. And again, I haven't taken a progression in weight, but I managed an extra rep. Session complete. Had a very good session today. Felt nice and strong. Progressed on a few exercises. And that's kind of just what I would do for a period of time now. I would just follow that training plan. Each week I would turn up and I would just add progressions to the session. Obviously there'd be the odd time where you won't progress, and you might not progress on every single exercise in all of your training, but over a period of time there should be progressions. And I think that's what motivates me, having a training plan that I can turn up and make progress over a period of time. So good session. All done before 11 o'clock, which is lovely. So I can just go home now, and part of the process is the recovery. So now it's about eating, relaxing, not going home and doing anything stressful. So I do work on a Sunday evening, but it's more kind of like admin. I've got my group call with the program that I'm running at the moment, so we have that at 6 o'clock. But I'll have a little bit of chill time. So yeah, probably just going to leave this vlog here, as I wanted to just kind of cover goals, my goals, a little bit of training. I've talked over the training clips today to just give you an insight into kind of like the progressions, how I kind of aim for progressions within my session. That was a good session. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one.